Today's video is a humble tribute to cartoonist and author Scott Adams, who sadly passed away this month after a lengthy battle with cancer. Most of us know him as the creator of Dilbert, the comic strip that ran from 1989 to 2023, and helped so many people survive the mind-numbing, soul-sapping tedium of the corporate office environment. And in addition to his comic work, he wrote several books and hosted the Coffee with Scott Adams podcast to offer his counsel on a variety of matters outside of the workplace. I myself have been familiar with Dilbert since I was little, and I could talk at length about the characters, stories, and cathartic humor. But I'd instead like to focus on a book that actually helped me get this channel moving. Reframe Your Brain, the user interface for happiness and success. Reframe Your Brain is, like so many other self-help books, written to coach the reader through a variety of personal problems, ranging from the banality of waiting in lines to the grief of losing a loved one. And the thread that Adams uses to tie all of these problems together is the importance of perception. The idea of shifting your view of a problem isn't unheard of by any means, but Adams uses a combination of clear, relatable examples and a dash of dry humor to show how you can rewire your brain to adopt an overall more proactive mindset. Once you learn how to reframe a difficult situation, you may find an easier approach to take, see new opportunities you didn't notice before, or even scare yourself out of a bad habit. I've found dozens of his reframes helpful in managing my content, and I could make a video explaining how I use each one. Come to think of it, that wouldn't be a bad idea for a series of shorts. But in the interest of practicality, I'll focus on the two that I rely on most frequently. The first reframe confronts the sense of trepidation I felt before I set up my channel, a sense I think we've all felt when contemplating a new endeavor. The effort is so big and daunting I can't even start. Perhaps the most imposing challenge at the start of my VTubing work, and even today to an extent, was seeing the level of success other VTubers already had, among both corporate and independent talents. Seeing the polished models and strong fan bases of existing presenters and having no idea how to get there isn't just daunting, it's downright discouraging some days. Fortunately, Adams counters that kind of mindset with a reframe that's both simple and effective. What's the smallest thing I can do that moves me in the right direction? Mulling over that question convinced me that maybe my priorities were out of order, and that I should probably stop obsessing over the end result and instead focus on the small steps leading up to it. So after watching some tutorials, I made my own model and background, learned to record and edit, and I finally became an active presence with videos and streams of my own. Well, I admit I'm not a successful presence, but I am making progress. The other reframe helps me with the most challenging phase of making my videos. Apart from my crippling sense of procrastination, that is. Writer's block. I can't think of anything good to write. I love discussing my favorite films, shows, and anime series with others, and I enjoy the chance to introduce people to titles they haven't heard of before. But getting my stupid brain to organize its thoughts into a cohesive format is a downright Herculean feat some days. And it's not helped by the concern that once I do organize those thoughts, they'll lose something important when I write them down. Fortunately, Adams's reframe goes a long way in diffusing that anxiety. I can write something bad and fix it. Writing bad prose is still writing. In fact, it's actually a necessary part of the creative process. And every grammatical mistake, typo, or clumsy stretch of text is just one more step on the way to a proper script. With that mindset, I've learned to just throw all of those jumbled thoughts onto a page when I have a video to make. Even if it's sloppy, I can usually find a nugget or two I can polish into something solid. And if I can't, then I just scrap it and start over. It may take me hours to finally arrive at something satisfactory, but I've found that in the end, a bad script makes a better stepping stone than no script at all. As with Scott Adams's other works, Reframe Your Brain is widely available for physical purchase, both in paperback and in hardcover in this case. And from personal experience, I can say that this is well worth a space on the shelf. There's a great deal of good advice with witty presentation, and I've only scratched the surface of what the book has to offer here. Adams left behind a big legacy, both on and off the comic pages, and I think he'd be happy to know that it's allowed him to keep helping people even after his passing. Here's to you, Mr. Adams. Thank you for everything you've given us.